we're back. Gonna continue where we left off on MSQ for a little bit. At least until it's time for me to go to bed. About an hour and a half or so. So let's do it. Hi everybody. Hope you're all having a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, or night, depending on where you are and when you're watching this. Just jump right back in. I don't think I'll be able to finish MS... Well, we did the only dungeon. There's only... Well, they usually only have one dungeon per patch, right? When it's post-expansion content. So I'm assuming the rest is just going to be cutscenes for days. But still, they can go on for a while, so I'm not fully 100% confident we're going to finish tonight, but we'll see. Got an hour and a half or so at least, right? So that's something. Sharing the wealth is where we left off. Shall we begin? If we are to spend the treasure wisely, then we must first determine which groups would benefit most from monetary assistance. Some of my citizens may find it intimidating to speak with the satrap directly, so I would ask that you act in my stead. Leon, you are to visit Akyali and Yedlamad. Speak with Matya and his people and listen to their grievances. Give me 1 second. Estinian, I bid you do the same at Palakastan. I will be conducting my own inquiries at the Giant Skull ground. Once you believe you have ascertained the needs of the populace, we can reconvene at Megaduta. Okay. You know, since we're here, this kind of reminds me of, when we did the Tower of Zot dungeon, back during Endwalker. You know, it was over there. I realized that I haven't addressed this yet, but I realized, shortly after I finished Endwalker and watched other people play through it, and replayed it on my alts, I realized that it was, the Tower of Zot is a dungeon, and hence a reference to Final Fantasy IV. It's actually a dungeon in FF4. And so that was a reference to FF4. And I remember back when I was playing through Endwalker the first time on stream, I said it was an FF6 dungeon or something, right? Man, did I fuck that up. You'd think after doing a marathon for 9 months on all the FF games, I would have not fucked that up. But you gotta remember, the first 6 Final Fantasy games I did all in like 1.5 months. From October to November of last year. So, you know, I missed and forgot certain details, including that one. I thought the Tower of Zot was from FF6 for some reason. It's actually from FF4. When I was picturing the Tower of Zot, I was picturing the well, see, I still don't know the actual name of it. This other tower you can climb. It's an optional dungeon in FF6 for like some kind of relic weapon or some shit, some really strong weapon or gear you can get. Yeah, I think even a Magicite for an Esper in FF6. It's a different tower. It's it's a tower filled with cult members that worship Kefka in FF6. In the World of Ruin. I thought it was that for some reason. But no, the Tower of Zot is actually from FF4, and I totally fucked that up. Which, it makes sense that there was a lot of FF4 references in Endwalker, because the moon and everything, you know. Oh, Leon! I was so glad to see you had returned unharmed. You finished with the boat then? Mm-hmm. Well, more or less, yeah. Anything the village desperately needs? Well, I suppose Kalzal's loss hit us the hardest. I've been trying to find buyers for my fish, but although I sell a few here and there, it's so much more difficult than it was before. Everyone's still struggling to rebuild their lives. For now, we're just banding together as best we can. Greetings and welcome, traveler. If this is your first visit to Thavner, then you must try my special Amra Lassi. Its refreshing zest cannot be beat. This guy doesn't remember me. Make me laugh. What could such a wonder cost, you wonder? Normally I'd part with 3 bottles for the generous price of 19,800 gil, literally the same price he tried to swindle Estinian with. But for you, I'm willing to go as low as even 10,000. You'd be practically stealing from me. Stealing? At that price, you're the only thief around here. Yeah, let's go with this. I am not Estinian. Estinian? Who is Gah! That's right.
Surprise, motherfucker!
You're the one who was with that spear-toting fellow. Well, you can hardly blame a man for trying. The world may no longer be on fire, but we are still sifting through the ashes, so to speak. Sister, spare me. We might as well have that ugly tower back for the scant few travelers we see these days. I myself barely have the coin to buy at local prices. I tell you, if I didn't charge the odd adventurer a small fortune for afternoon tea, I'd be scavenging for scraps in the street. So things are still pretty shitty economically around here, it seems. How fares the port? Well, it's in shambles, isn't it? The trade routes are open once more now that the danger has passed, certainly. But no small number of merchants have had to sell their ships to make ends meet in the short term. 1 second. Add to that the sailors we lost in the final days, and it's little wonder the flow of exports is no more than a pitiful trickle. If Kalzal and his consortium were still with us, I'm sure he'd have found a way to turn our fortunes around. Now that was a man who got things done, God's rest his soul. He has spoken with the key local figures and gained an understanding of the populace's hardships. Varshan away to report at Megaduda. Oh, right. Wait, isn't there a closer? Yeah. I was like, there was another Ether, right? That's closer. What the fuck am I doing? So it seemed my stint on Vitra's back did not go unnoticed. I couldn't take 2 steps before another Thavnaran was thanking me profusely for saving their home. I mean, you make quite a scene if you're riding around on a dragon's back, dude. Slaying monsters and shit. Ah, my advisor's return. I've just made it back myself. How'd it go? Why do you retain this vessel now that your true form is known? You could have flown across the island in a fraction of the time. Dude, again? Okay. Be that as it may, the sight of a massive creature descending from the sky can be startling, to say the least. And there are a few places I can enter comfortably without risk of flattening some cart or stall. Yeah, he is pretty big, dude. Fair enough. He's got a point. As for my inquiries, the people of Palaka Stan were unanimous in their reply. What's up? They are surviving. Resources were stretched to the limit when refugees were pouring in, but they persevered with some assistance from Yedlamad. From what I understand, they have always been an independent community, hunters and foragers and the like, and I was assured that the jungle provides for their needs, for the most part. Palaka Stan has weathered the disaster better than most, it seems. I myself heard good news and bad. The quarrymen were cautiously optimistic, having just sold a full wagon of giant skull to a foreign trader. But such visitors are few and far between. Compared to our best years, the weight of stone leaving Thavner has been light indeed. Our nation is small and isolated, its prosperity dependent on a steady stream of exports. We must identify any obstacles to the flow of trade so we may begin working to remove them. Tell me, what did you learn in Akyali and Yedlaman? I see. Without a dedicated buyer, the average fisherman must struggle to offload his daily catch. Which is why I believe we should first address the lack of ships and shortage of able-bodied sailors in Yedlaman. I am reminded of a child I spied as I made my way back to the palace. His father lost at sea when the beast sunk their vessel. So many variations of the same tragic tale repeated over and over. So many lives lost. Enough grief to drown in if we let ourselves be overcome. But we will not. Leon, Istinian, I will consider the perspectives you've brought me and devise a plan to help my people confront this adversity. Come, I would like you to be in attendance when I announce the proposal to my assembled functionaries.
I thank you
Oh shit.
for your attendance. The riches the Radiant Host have retrieved were hoarded in Al-Zadal's name. A fortune I set aside for a future day of need. And lo, that day hath come. May it aid our wounded city in reclaiming its vibrancy and vigor. In better times, I would leave such a task to our capable Ahawan. God's rest his soul. Finding myself bereft of his counsel in the here and now, I will assume the responsibilities of mine office directly.
Or one out for the homie Ahawan.
Firstly, the treasure shall be sold for more convenient currency. Thence, invested into the trading port of Yedlamad. Our merchants must have their operations restored, their ships rebuilt. Commerce must flow once more. None were spared the tragedy of the final days. Of this, I am well aware. But an absence was created by the loss of Kalzal's consortium. And by filling it, we provide new means for our fishermen, our artisans, and others to bring their wares to distant markets.
And what of the children who were left without family to care for them?
That is a concern which weigheth heavily upon my mind. The simple gift of coin will soon be exhausted, leaving these young souls adrift on the fringes of our society. Nay, a proper solution is needed, one which doth guarantee their welfare for years to come. Thou hast surely seen how other nations rise to meet this challenge, adventurer. What dost thou deem the wisest course?
I naturally gravitate to the bottom option about the firmament, but what comes to mind with this conversation is what happened in post Stormblood with Ehrenwald's adventure, right? 4.1 MSQ when they were trying to restore the infrastructure of what's it called? Alamigo. And they built a trade route between that and Ul'dah. But is this a similar situation? Let me see what he says if I hit that one. The Firmament's orphanage was built as part of a communal restoration effort.
Of course, the revival of trade can contribute to the building of a new institution. Let us put this idea into practice. A contract shall be written, requiring all who receive of Al-Zadar's treasure to commit a portion of their future earnings towards the running of an orphanage.
Seems like the wisest approach, yeah.
Now, such an influential policy is deserving of a worthy name.
Guessing you only get that bottom option if you've done the Firmament quests in Heavensward. These are both basically the same answer with different words, aren't they? So yeah, I'll just go with the top one. Something with Kalzal seems appropriate.
A fitting candidate. Kalzal should be remembered, not as the blasphemy which terrorized Thavne, but as a hard-working and generous man who brought much wealth to our shores. Do any among you object to this proposition? Many here lost loved ones to the beasts.
In that time of strife, any one of us could have broken. Any one of us may have been taken by despair. When I think of Kalzal, I feel no hatred. Only a stinging regret that we could not save him as well. Isn't that right, men?
This bodes well for that boy. Murad, was it? Perhaps he can cut ties with that shady peddler.
Indeed. You'll have that opportunity now.
Then let it be done. Henceforth, this initiative shall be known as the Kalzal Foundation. Nabdeen, thou art to assemble a patrol and ensure that no child in this city liveth in squalor. Clerks, see to the management of our funds and make haste. Our citizens must not suffer a day more than is necessary.
Dragon and man, side by side in pursuit of a brighter morrow. Reminded of Ishgard.
Obviously. I think you've mentioned that several times before. I mean, it's only rational that, you know, basically what happened with the vault we raided was like a rainy day. How appropriate. No pun intended, but yes, a rainy day fund that he was storing for whenever, you know, something like this happened. A rainy day. So it's come time to use it, right? All that loot we found in the, that dungeon we did. Or, yeah, Vitra was basically hoarding that wealth for this kind of situation. For if, like, his country fell in hard times, which it now has, with everything that happened during the final days and all that. Then he could use that wealth to restore its economy afterwards. And that's what we're doing now. And it makes sense to not just, you know, squander it by just fucking throwing the wealth at everybody here, but rather investing it in infrastructure, which is obviously what they're doing with the orphanage. You know, helping set things up so that they can lift people up out of poverty using the same wealth that they're getting out of their little vault there underwater. Because they're establishing, you know, they're rejuvenating basically their trade, their commerce, especially with other countries and stuff, using that wealth and then taxing the profits from it to invest in, you know, to reinvest in the infrastructure, which an orphanage is basically a part of that. A public institution. It's part of it's part of infrastructure, basically. It's like a public school, essentially. Sometimes orphanages do double up as schools. It's pretty rational and wise way to invest money, so. Vitra's warming to his role as satrap. Clearly all those years behind the curtain were not spent napping. Of course not. Bridging the rift. It's basically, yeah, this is why I was reminded of what happened after Stormblood, right? In Alamigo. It was the same thing. We found the fucking treasure vault full of money. Full of gold and riches right underneath Alamigo, and then we invested it in infrastructure, creating that trade route, and then taxing the profits from it to restore the wealth of Alamigo after it was fucked up by 2 successive wars. Well, not 2 successive wars, but you know, toppling a tyrant and then having to deal with the Garlean occupation for 20 years. And then a war to break out of that. But yeah. Thank you for putting forth Kalzal's name. Those whose lives he enriched will take comfort in seeing his legacy honored. You will forgive me for not speaking sooner, but I bear a message from Archon Y'shtola. She asks that you meet her at the High Crucible at your earliest convenience. Understood. Thank you. Y'shtola must have finished her study of the Void Gate. Shall we hear what she has to say then? I will go with you. Okay. He's curious, huh? Because he hasn't given up on his sister. I thought the satrap would be too busy setting up the foundation. My clerks have been the well-oiled cogs of this administration since before Ahewan assumed the office. They understand what needs to be done. And I am curious to learn what conclusions your Archon has reached concerning the gate's unique construction. As you wish. Allow me to lead the way, Your Excellency. Why am I was like, I'm already here, but whatever. My brain's kind of shut. What the fuck was that? Why did my character not load in? What was that? My brain's kind of all over the place right now. I was like, I'm already here. Why did I... Whatever. 100 gil. I guess today was a longer day than I thought. Or maybe I just have too much else on my mind. I don't know. I started the stream in a weird, mental place, so... For one who claims it is too late to save his sister, Vitra seems awfully interested in whatever revelations Y'shtola might have to share. Calling him out. Shall we hear what your scholarly comrade has to say? Maybe I'll talk about why I'm in such a weird mental state right now, but...
Right, here we all are.
Maybe later tonight, maybe tomorrow, depending on when I finish this.
You discovered something new.
I took a closer look at that device. I was able to determine how it keeps the void gate sealed, but not how it might instead be employed to expand the opening. For that, I would need to reference the technique developed by Vritra's alchemists, no records of which appear to have survived the intervening years.
We know this, so why have you sent for us? Have you learned aught of value or not?
It's like, get to the point. What are we here for?
Patience, good sir. One must introduce the subject before launching into specifics. From what we understand, travel between worlds is accomplished by passing through the nebulous rift which exists between them. Picture, if you will, the moment you were called to the first. You touched a focus of some kind to help the Exarch pinpoint your location. His summoning spell then channeled the energies of the Crystal Tower to begin your journey to his world. The magics tore a hole in the walls separating source and shard, and cast you into the intervening nothingness. In that place, the laws of nature hold no sway. Yet even through this realm of temporal and spatial instability, you were borne safely to your destination in the first. The feat that guided you across such an unimaginable distance, both physical and metaphorical, was nothing short of a miracle.
Then what of the many voids and found in the source? Who guides them here, and how?
An excellent question. Though there are several methods by which the Void's denizens might intrude upon our world, the rituals of summoning are the most typical. For example, let us consider the Gargoyle, a creature of middling power. To call upon such an entity, the prospective summoner must force open a void gate. The portal lasts but a moment and is relatively small, allowing only an imp or other lesser being to squeeze through with their physical body intact. Our more powerful gargoyle, however, is too large for that. Creating a gate big enough for him would require vast amounts of energy, far beyond the reserves of any one mortal practitioner.
Except for that Black Mask Asking in Realm Reborn at the very beginning. Right? When you do that level 14 quest. In the city-state intros. He summons exactly one of these.
Instead, 'tis far more common to bring over only the entity's soul. We had a taste of that ourselves when a certain Exarch dragged us to the first. And just as our bodies remained in our world, the Void Sense physical form is left behind in the 13th.
We're seeing a lot of the 13th here. Look at all these environments they've been showing us throughout this entire patch of the World of Darkness. Place is So many environments from that place we've never seen before.
Once at its destination, the summoned soul is granted a temporary shell to inhabit. In the gargoyle's case, a stone effigy has proven a suitable vessel.
Wait. You said that void scent must be called here deliberately by someone in the source, reeled in like a fisherman with his catch.
Exactly. For a being to navigate the chaos of the rift, with or without form, there must needs be a guiding agent on the other side.
When the hordes poured forth from Alag's Great Gate, it was the technologists who drew them through. Though to my knowledge, planar fissures are in essence natural passages between our world and the void, which require no such guidance to traverse. Why is only the boundary between the source and the 13th so fragile? So much so that it often tears open of its own accord.
I believe solving that mystery is key to understanding travel between the source and its reflections.
And how do you intend to get your answers?
No, the danger is too great.
Perhaps. But what some call danger, others think of as adventure.
She knows me too well, doesn't she?
Were you not listening to my tale? Never mind that the means to expand the gate has been lost to the ages. Even could you force the portal wide enough, you would be greeted by an army of murderous horrors the very instant you step through.
I assure you I was most attentive. And I agree that to go alone would be certain death. But if I were to bring along one who has already braved the 13th and humbled the cloud of darkness, well, I imagine my chances would be much improved.
Careful, someone would think you're talking about me. Well, so much for taking it easy.
Since when were you one for the quiet life?
Never, you know I'm just teasing.
Once again, I put my life in your ever-reliable hands.
And I won't let you down, Yustola. Don't worry.
That said, as much as I would like to march straight back to the Void Gate, there is the small matter of being unable to open it without the Satrap's personal authority.
That side-eye, though. That's a concerned doge right there. Or a concerned frog, either way.
As I've said before, I will grant you and yours any boon you choose to name, provided it does not endanger my people.
You have my word that we will take every precaution. Not a single void scent will be allowed to threaten Radzat-Han, assuming we manage to expand the portal in the first place.
You have a plan.
Actually, I had hoped you might help us with that. I presume the alchemists you retained supplied you with some explanation of their methodology.
That they did. House Daimir was overseeing the project.
Daimir. Ah, yes. The family associated with the great work.
I did not fully comprehend the theory, but their research began with a void scent which had slipped through the fissure. After a thorough examination, they created an arcane simulacrum possessed of similar qualities. A man-made void scent, if you will. It was apparently indispensable in their efforts to enlarge the gate.
A man-made voice.
Yes. Being great admirers of the Archons, House Daemir submitted detailed notes to Charlene's official committee. They expected praise and accolades for their simulacrum, and were thus devastated to be informed that their work had been classified as prohibited material.
If that's true, then those notes might still be stored in a forbidden archive somewhere. Not Google, of course, since that library had yet to be built. Which leaves us with...
Yeah, exactly. I was like, I immediately had flashbacks to when Grahatia got caught. Graha's favorite place to sneak around.
It's rewind time.
Indeed. Numenon's restricted stacks may very well hold a copy.
Where else would they put prohibited material? It was pretty obvious, yeah.
In which case, I say we head directly to Charleon.
Unless you anticipate needing help to reach the high shelves. I see myself being of little use. Go on ahead. I still need to find Mirad and tell him about the Kalzal Foundation.
Let us be on our way as well.
They are resolved to venture into the void. Do I sit idly by?
Don't let an opportunity slip to rescue your sister, buddy. He's deep in thought. Hey, real quick, you guys saw that? Here, you know what? Let me just... Instead of trying to explain it. Something felt funky about that scene just now.
Since when were you one for the
Perfect.
quiet life?
Perfect timing. Alright, give me a sec. Look at what... This is subtle.
Since when were you one for the quiet life?
This. Look at the way she approaches before she says anything else.
Once again, I put my life in your ever-reliable hands.
Why does that feel like it was like...
That said, as much as I would like to march...
That was so weird and weirdly unnecessary, I feel. Like she responds to you and then she walks forward and says, "My life's in your hands." You almost get like a first-person view of that. It's like, I feel like that was very subtle fan service for Yustola Sims or something. Like, she's relying on me. like she's like they were making her feel like they were like she was making herself vulnerable to you, to the player, so that guys who like, you know, can feel like I have to protect Yustola. You know, like it just feels like some weird, very subtle fan service. I don't know. It's just kind of odd the way she does that. It threw me off a little.
Since when were you one?
Like, I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want to interrupt the damn scene, but I was like, I was just like, why is she getting so close? And then she says this.
Once again, I put my life in your ever-reliable
And I can't
hands.
help but feel that that was some very subtle fan service right there. I was like, huh, that's odd. Jesus. Forgot to lower the volume. Okay, it's good. That way guys can be like, yes, I will protect you, my love. Square's gotta know there's a lot of people who simp for Yustola. I mean, they did something similar with Justinian, remember? Well, the way he, like, comes into the room and jumps out the window during that scene at night, right after you kill Zodiark. If we're to enter Numenon's restricted archives with a minimum of fuss, then we must secure the permission of the Forum. First, however, we shall need to enlist the cooperation of a member to broach the matter on our behalf. Who do you think might be inclined to assist us? No one springs to mind? Not really. What of Scholar Monteshane? He did come to Graha's defense during the inquiry, after all. True. 'Tis settled. Let us head to Phenomenon and see if he's willing to help us once more. Monteshane, the Giga Chad who stood up for us. Oh look, there's a little I hate when NPCs are accompanying you that you can accidentally target them. When you hit the confirm button and you're trying to just target the NPC in front of you instead, like this, and it just does that instead. Excuse me. If I was pressed to name our allies in the Forum, Scholar Monteshane would certainly be at the top of the list. Hopefully he agrees to aid us with our request. It's true, that dude was, he was... What's the phrase I'm looking for here? He's a real one. He was a homie. He stood up for us. I apprenticed to Master Matoya at the age of 7, and labored under her tutelage for a full decade. I never had the chance to attend the studium. Wow. Neither did Thancred, as I recall. Soon after Master Louisoix took him in off the streets, he was put in the care of another Archon. His was a rigorous and practical education in the arts of espionage and survival. Oh, okay, yeah. Sorry, hold on. Yes, Louisoix took him in. He's put in the care of another Archon. Yeah, that guy that left me that side quest with the treasure box here in Charlian that I did before the end of Endwalker, I think, right? Yeah. They left a gift from me for, I guess, having looked after Thancred for a bit or something. But they remained anonymous. They didn't say who they were. They made me go through that puzzle to open the locked box. I sometimes wonder what my life might have been like had I pursued studies here instead. Should I wonder as well? I feel like that's not gonna come out the way I think it is. That might just feel... I feel like she might interpret that in a negative way. I can ask both, though. Tea at the last stand after a day of lectures? Let's see how it goes. Oh, that does sound lovely. Afternoons with friends spent sipping tea and debating theories. Damn, now that she says it like that, yeah, actually that sounds pretty fun. I am academically inclined in real life, so... Still, I wouldn't give up my time with Master Matoya for the world. I know, you would have turned out very different if you hadn't spent so much time with her. The dank cave I studied in was about as far from the bright, airy halls of academia as one could get. But it was a wondrous, magical childhood nonetheless. Exactly. It's its own sort of cherished, childhood, I guess, yeah. It's its own little adventure, really. It's nobody else can really say that they studied like that, so... You have a really cool story to tell, I think. Now, what does she say if I do this? Should I wonder as well? Oh, never mind me, it was just an idle thought. See? I knew it was gonna... That's not how I meant to say it, that's why I didn't choose that my first time. Because I was like, I think this is a dismissive answer, but that's not how I would have meant that. The way I would have said it would have been with a vocal tone of, like, curiosity rather than dismissing her. But just from the wording, I was like, no, that's not how they mean that. When they wrote that line, it was meant to be a dismissive answer, and I was right. Semantics. You know how it is. I caught on before I clicked that answer, though. I was like, no, no, no. I don't want to be an asshole. Alright, I could have gone in both ways. Yo, Monteshame, what's up? It's been a while, dude.
Dylan!
Ah, visitors! And quite esteemed ones at
Son
that.
of a bitch.
What may I do for you? Pray forgive the intrusion, Scholar, but we were hoping you might help us secure permission to enter Numenon's restricted archives. Aho! No further forays into the stacks this time, eh? I applaud this newfound sense of propriety. Yet in all this wide world of comparative serenity, what so compels you to disturb a vault of forbidden wisdom? Well... long story, but here it goes. Fascinating. I had no idea such a technique existed. I would have been surprised if you had. If my assumption is correct, the research left behind by House Damer has lain dormant in Charlene's archives for many centuries. And if you unearth this research, what then? Surely you don't intend to cross over into the void. That is, in fact, precisely what we intend. To what end, pray tell? To develop a method of traversing the rift, for one, that I might keep my word to a distant friend. Sentiment aside, I have journeyed to the end of existence. I have heard, felt, and thought endlessly about the truth of our world and the echo of its future. And yet I want to understand everything, to unravel it all down to its very last secret. What scholar worthy of the name wouldn't force open a void gate or two if a grand revelation was the promised reward? Marvelous! An audacious proposal worthy of Master Matoya herself. And after hearing the whys and the wherefores, I, for one, do not believe you would use the knowledge for ill. See no reason not to present your request for the forum's consideration. Although, your petition would be better received if you also had the support of another well-placed acquaintance. Why, Master Fortuno, of course. He can hardly ignore an earnest request from his dear children's most treasured conduits. I was hesitant to approach him directly, but there is no denying that having Master Fortuno on our side would tip the balance in our favor. Very well. We will pay a visit to the Levier estate and plead our case. Ah, one last thing before you go. I would consider it a personal favor if you might share with me the discoveries you make in the void. My appetite for knowledge is every bit as insatiable as yours, I'd wager. So if you could see your way to indulging an old man's curiosity? Of course, Scholar. We will be sure to pass on any revelations. Oh, wait, what? Oh shit. I thought I was targeting him. I was like, wait, what's going on? He's not even accompanying me. Monteshane seemed optimistic, but I doubt convincing Fortuno to champion our cause will be as simple as showing up on his doorstep. Ha! Yeah, I want to talk to him though. A forum can be a cantankerous beast. One needs a persuasive voice to get him moving in the desired direction. Yeah, that's democracy in general. In a nutshell, I guess. Oh man, we gotta go a long way. Oh right, I did a dungeon earlier, I might as well do this. Ah, Master Leon, Mistress Shistola, how may I be of service? We've come to speak with Master Fortune. Is he home by any chance? Yes, the master is in residence. I shall inform him that he has guests. Well, well. Ameliance would invite you inside for tea, but I assume this is not a social visit. You have some matter of import to discuss? Mm-hmm. Then pray proceed. You have my full attention. Well, I suppose I should praise you for following the proper protocols this time around. Starlark Montaigne expressed much the same sentiment. I assure you, we'll not attempt to circumvent the Forum's authority again. Unless it is absolutely necessary, of course. Of course. You didn't like that one. You do understand that the restricted archives are restricted for good reason, yes? If no pressing need exists, then why risk the consequences of employing this forbidden knowledge? For a brother who misses his sister, she was his guardian and his friend. A selfless hero who crossed the rift between worlds to save her homeland from horror and suffering. Yeah, Vitra and Azdaya, right? That's her name. But the brother has given up on thoughts of reunion. He spends his efforts elsewhere, watching over a people yet healing from the flames of the final days. Loyal to his duty while betraying the longing in his heart. Wow! Are you spending too much time with Urianger now? You're becoming as poetic as him. Jesus Christ. Starting to rub off on you. 'Tis no vital mission, perhaps, reuniting these siblings, but it feels a worthy cause to pursue all the same. As one who feared losing his own loved ones and spent years in research to prevent it, surely you appreciate how painful such a separation must be. Reflections are still very much a mystery to us. Offering to share your experiences in the first should constitute a fair exchange for our cooperation. Oh, there you go. We'd be more than happy to tell you about the first. Do not celebrate just yet. The Forum must still be convinced. I will add your request to the list of today's deliberations and deliver the decision to you at the Baldessian Annex. Fair enough. Fortuno's been added. Please do come again. We are always glad to receive such close companions of the twins. I don't doubt it. Pistola? The matter is out of our hands. All that remains is to return to the Annex and await word of the Forum's decision. Hold on. Save it, Fortuno. Oh! So I'm not making that mistake again. That's for the new stuff. That's for the new Alliance Raid stuff, right? You stole it? Milady? Gentlemen? So, what did the Forum decide? To put it bluntly, Master Matoya has burned some bridges here in Charlian, and salted the earth for good measure. When it became clear that a student was the petitioner in question, well, no few members voiced their discontent. Ah, shit. Then the Chamber was reminded, in no uncertain terms I might add, of the incredible debt we owe to you and your companions. Did that get us the win? Was that the saving grace? Are we good? Pause, champ? That served to silence the grumbles and stiffen a few spines, and it was agreed that allowing you entry to the archives was the least we could do in return. Holy shit, thank God. Dodged the bullet on that one. She was worried too, she was like... That is wonderful news. Thank you both for speaking on our behalf. Yes, well... As I am sure you are aware, this permission was not extended lightly. Forbidden knowledge is to be treated with the utmost caution, and there will be repercussions if it is not. I wish you well in your endeavor and bid you good day. Saving the universe has its benefits, huh? Reconstructing burnt bridges is one of them. Excuse me? Never the same, that one. Uncompromising? Aye, but that very stoicism is exactly what Charlian needed to guide it through not one, but two exoduses. Yeah, even his personality type has its place in this world. Dude, Leon's neck was fucked up in that scene. Is that what people... I never noticed it before, but is that what people mean when they make memes out of necks in this game? How they look sometimes in certain animations? Look at that. Holy shit. That is weird. Maybe that'll get fixed in the graphics updates after 7.0, right? If I were but 5 years younger, I'd cast aside my lectern and join you on your adventures in a heartbeat. Huh? Just 5 years younger? I like that. Dude still feels very young at heart. I support it. I mean, knowing that there's like 60 to 70-year-old skydivers out there. Hell yeah, dude. That went rather well, I think. As a child, I dreamed up any number of schemes for getting my hands on those forbidden tomes. And now I can simply walk in through the door. Yeah, good for you. Or, lucky you is what I meant to say. Our focus will be on finding House Damer's research notes, of course, but the thought of so much knowledge at my disposal has me feeling a little giddy. Like a child again, right? I'd like to set out as soon as you're ready. Well, Monsieur? Restricted reading. You'll be heading directly to the archives from here, I presume? You presume correctly. And you'll want to speak with the index page when you arrive. It's been instructed to grant you access to the restricted section. Excellent. Once again, we thank you for all your help. Oh, it was my pleasure, believe me. May you find the knowledge you seek. Shall we? I was about to say, I saw that person on Zalera too. Did you see that bikini cat girl with the dwarf hat or whatever? I think I swear I saw them here in this spot. I see them over and over on the Crystal Data Center too. They're called like... They have a simple name. There's more than one of them running around. It's like this weird cult thing. One of them was called like Potato Chip. The other one was called... They have like... Their names are like these simple descriptive phrases. I always see one here every fucking time I come here. You guys saw them throughout Endwalker too. When I was doing that stream, there was a couple times we ran in here and there was one of those bikini girls with the dwarf hat on. So strange. Any other chat bubbles? No, just that one, I think. I always run into one of them going into the inn room there. Like that. What does she say outside of that? Come along, Leon. Numenon and its forbidden wisdom awaits. Wait till Graha hears about this, right? To think the set of instructions I laughingly imagined may actually exist, but yawns away from where you found me napping. If I had known of Alzadal III's exploits sooner, I could well have saved myself days of research. Even a children's book might have pointed me in the right direction. To achieve the impossible, one must needs be flexible of mind and look beyond conventional wisdom. A lesson I had already learned, but clearly not taken to heart. Don't worry, Stella, you're not the only one that does that. I mean, Endwalker basically retaught me a lot of lessons I had already learned but didn't take to heart enough. And that's what made that alone made it life-changing for me, because it found a way to finally make me really get it. Archon Ystella and guest identified. Do you wish to proceed into the restricted archives? Yeah. Follow me if you would. Watch your step, and please note that the use of naked flames is discouraged. That makes sense. You don't want us burning shit down. Oh shit, here we go. New area. It's gonna be a remix of the Great Google Library music. We got the piano. It is! Haha, that's cool!
If House Damia's notes are to be found anywhere, it will be here. Let us begin.
Sweet, we actually get to explore this place. I was wondering if it was just gonna be a cutscene or not. No smoking, no throwing books, and no yelling out Eureka in an obnoxiously loud voice. Alright, fair enough. So many books I've yet to read. Yes, we are here for one specific volume. You needn't remind me. I'll get carried away now. She is like a child right now. All this knowledge. Ystella the master. Because remember, the true master is an eternal student. So I went by that moniker for a while. Untitled journal. Let's see what this is. Today, in a world not my own, I met the most beautiful void-born creature. She was so unlike her ravenous brethren. Eyes blazing not with hunger, but trembling, like a candle's flame threatening to flicker out at any moment. I wonder if she is even the proper word. Such distinctions seem inconsequential. Insignificant, even. All that matters is the love I feel for this exquisite, transcendent being. Though you are tempted to read more, this does not seem to be the volume you're seeking. No shit. Let me read it one more time, though. As you guys remember, we found a very similar book like that in the Great Google Library. That was we pieced together was about Ultros, which is a void scent. And it had to do with somebody who was trying to. What were they trying to do again? They were trying to. I think it was something to do with what's her name from Hawk Manor, right? And they attempted to bring in a void scent to do something for her or regarding her, Lady Mandine in Hawk Manor, and they ended up bringing forth Ultros by accident, and then they didn't know what to do with it, so they gave it to the Thaumaturgist Guild, and then they just put it in the employ of the Colosseum in Ul'dah. And that's why Ultros was there for the Hildebrand storyline in The Realm Reborn. Alright, what's this? In the year 1564 of the 6th Astral Era, the Amalja summoned Ifrit, their patron god. Accounts describe the being as a gigantic lizard-like being with a potent command of fire-aspected magics. If we consider that primal summoning is an act fueled by faith and prayer, it is unsurprising, if not expected, that the resulting deiform entity should manifest the appearance and powers with which it is attributed by its worshippers. What then might emerge from the ether should one who believes in an almighty omniscience attempt the same ritual? Would the scholar himself grace us with his presence? Some other embodiment of divine sagacity? Could this man-made god truly be all-knowing? And if it were, whence would such knowledge arise? I myself have many questions concerning the nature of the ancient world. With no spell to transport me back to the days of old, could I instead summon a being possessed of encyclopedic wisdom of every age? Yet with no means to verify its pronouncements, how could one be certain they were true? Yeah, actually that's true. You could just be hearing a bunch of lies. Though your mind spins with the possibilities discussed therein, this does not seem to be the volume you're seeking. Yeah, it was pretty interesting. That was, those are some really good questions to ponder on, yeah. They have me very curious now. I like that. That is something I never thought of before. Summon a primal that's supposed to know everything. Will it actually know everything? Or just pretend that it knows everything and spew out a bunch of nonsense as if it's true? That's some good shit to masturbate to mentally later. AKA philosophy, essentially, is what that is. Mental masturbation. That's essentially what that tome was doing, too. It was just somebody musing. Like, what if this? What if that? Mental masturbation. The following pages detail an advanced method for manipulating rift-spanning apertures as devised by Newfound, the 9th Patriarch of House Damer. Well, we found the right book, I guess. We present these research notes to the faculty of Charlene's Studium as both a token of our friendship and an expression of our boundless admiration. Dude, this piano is going in. This music is really fucking intense for trying to study some shit, I gotta say. You appear to have located the forbidden volume you seek. Your solo will need to make the final confirmation. They kind of set it up so it'd be the last one you check, too. I like that. Like if you just go to the first obvious ones. Which is cool, because then you don't miss out on the extra lore from those other 2 books. Have something you'd like to show me, do you? My apologies. I flipped open but a single book and was completely absorbed by the contents. Of course. Epiphanies of House Damer. A forbidden research log detailing an advanced method for manipulating rift-spanning apertures is devised by Newfound, the 9th Patriarch of House Damer. Excuse me, here you go. Well done, Leon. I think you may have found our prize.
Yes, the ether signature is unmistakable. I've felt the traces of House Damir's resonance many times at the Great Work. Time to see what all the fuss was about. Among the ranks of the Voidsent, there exist entities with the power to call forth their brethren from beyond. The species known as Atomos, however, is uniquely prodigious in this regard. From its distended maw, it can expel an endless procession of void-born creatures, a talent which sorely tested the Radiant Host in its battles against these abominations.
Yeah, we saw them a lot in action in the World of Darkness.
Surmising that the entity itself was acting as a void gate, we endeavored to capture a small specimen and subsequently examine its physiological structure. Our findings revealed that the Atomos had absorbed a planar fissure into its own flesh, which it could expand at will into a functioning gate. Upon further analysis, we identified an ethereal wave pattern emitted during this process. A pattern we were able to emulate by passing crystal-stored ether through a specially designed prism. We proceeded to embed said prism into an arcane simulacrum, thus completing what we have dubbed our artificial Atomos. could I have been so blind to the possibilities? This species, not to mention its ability to summon void scent, has been discussed among academics for years now.
Sometimes you need a fresh perspective.
Just before the advent of the 7th Umbral Calamity, we received reports of Atomos sightings from every corner of Eorzea. Surely you've at least heard the tales.
Yep, definitely.
And still, House Daemir went and built a mock Atomos of their very own. I'm not surprised the Archons consigned their work to a restricted archive. It was no easy task, but at last we've unearthed the volume we've been searching for. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't tempted to stay longer. See what other forbidden titles might be lurking on these shelves.
If it were up to you, you'd live here for a month.
But that would be abusing the very special privilege we've been granted now, wouldn't it? Better not.
Not gonna lie, if I was her, I'd be tempted too. I want to access all this forbidden knowledge. Something me and Yustola do have in common quite a bit, which I think I briefly touched on when she mentioned it in, where is it? In Ultima Thule, when she defeated the despair of the Ea during the Endwalker finale. The thirst for knowledge. Yeah, I'm with her on that shit, so. Congratulations on locating the object of your search. Please move along. As much as I would love to start crafting the Atomos, I'm afraid this is far outside my field of expertise. Fortunately, we know a Hannish alchemist who would be delighted to involve herself in our House Daemir project. Our business here is concluded for the moment. Please pass on our regards to the forum. Your message will be conveyed. Should you wish to indulge in more forbidden literature, I will be here. Patron mode disabled. Security mode engaged. If anyone can help us, Nidhana can. I say we return to Thavner and look for her at the Great Work. I figured that's where this was going, yeah. Also, they mentioned having a warding scale would probably protect us if we went to the 13th, right? If we traveled to the Void. Would we need one now? Now that Heidelin's gone, or do we still have the protection of, her Traveler's Ward spell? The Blessing of Light, as we call it in the modern day, I guess. Like, is it still in effect even though Heidelin's dead? That's what I don't know. All these sallow, sleep-deprived faces, but their eyes still burn with fiery zeal. Some things never change. I remember when we first showed up here and there was just a bunch of bodies everywhere. They were all passed out. Yustola tells me you are pursuing a most fascinating study, and that you want me to be a part of it. Jesus, the weather's so bad, we all look so gray. I have no doubt you will be interested. This research log should speak for itself. It looks more colorful in this preview, though, than on my TV. It still looks like a fucking ghost. On my TV. Will it now? By the sisters! This is the mark of House Daemir! I never even knew such a work existed. You should. It was sequestered in Numenon's restricted archives, after all. It was? But that means every word within is forbidden knowledge. A forbidden tome filled with forbidden research, and you put it right into my unsuspecting hand? I can hardly wait to read it! Just like Yustola. That's good shit. Of course Leon chuckled at that shit. Maybe not that kind of chuckle, but... To think the Daemir were developing such marvelous techniques so long ago. How many innovations have been lost over the centuries, I wonder? Now that you've glanced over the notes, what say you to helping us build a new mock Atomos? I say yes. 1,000 times yes. Work on a Damer project that had even the redoubtable scholars of Charlene trembling in their sandals? No alchemist of the great work would resist, or could resist. Damn. You are a woman after my own heart. Exactly. I was like, holy shit. And they're two peas in a pod, these two. Oh, I suppose I should ask. What do you mean to do with this big-mouthed simulacrum once we've built it? Well... So there's a secret void gate, and it's sealed in the ruins at the bottom of the bounty. Today is a day of revelations indeed. If the purpose of our man-made Atomos is to expand this hidden portal, then I will need to see it for myself, I think. Manipulating rift-spanning apertures is not the sort of thing you want to attempt without first taking into account every single factor. Then by all means, accompany us to the vault. I plan to lead us back there shortly, once we finish gathering the components I require. Oh yeah? Charlene's markets provided the raw aquamarine and pure water crystals. But I might need help obtaining a small quantity of Australian-fused water. For such a liquid, you need to go no further than the font of Maya. The ascetics of old once favored the place for their meditations, and the water which pools there now is known to enliven the flow of ether. That sounds perfect. If you would be so kind as to fill a flask at the pool, I will petition Vitra to join us. The idea I have in mind won't amount to much without his authority to command the Void Gate. Shall we be about it then? We meet back here anon. Ah, there is no greater joy than having a new puzzle to ponder. Mental masturbation, yes. Like I've been saying. It can be quite enjoyable for the academically inclined. Or philosophically inclined. Either way. Going to bed after I turn in this quest. I don't know how much is left of MSQ at this point, but we'll finish it tomorrow. Oh, there it is. Pastorally dense pocket. Man, this place brings back some sad memories. The boy Mirad was glad to hear the news of the Foundation. It means a new life for him and his sister. Yeah. Arkanya Stella requested that I join you, but of her plans she offers scant detail. Well, you'll find out soon enough, buddy. Oh, I forgot to mention, the Font of Maya attracts aggressive wildlife, and you should watch out for them when, you go there next time. My apologies. Don't worry, I didn't run into any of them, luckily. Do you have that flask for me? Yep. Astral expected water. A flask filled with astrally infused water scooped from a strangely specific point in the depths of the Font of Maya. What did I say before? Astrali? I didn't realize it was this. Astrali. Astral. Astrally. There we go. It's meant to be pronounced astrally. Here you go. Yes. This should suffice. Thank you, Leon. You're welcome, milady. Comfy skill speed. Void theory. Well, we'll have to do that tomorrow. Cause yeah, I gotta go. Gotta go to bed. I started a little late, unfortunately, so But it was already late when I ended my last stream. I knew I wasn't going to get to do a long one today. Or, I knew I wasn't going to get to do a long one after I came back from my break. So, but yeah, I had to shower and take care of some other shit. So I was like, yeah, I'll probably just be able to do like a 1 hour short stream when I get back. And that's all we got. Alright, so I'll finish MSQ tomorrow, and then we can do the Alliance raids and other stuff. Like, what do we got? What's the next thing? Oh yeah, we can finish the Master Role. Yeah, the Master Role quests. Since we did all the role quests during Endwalker. And the Beast Tribe, well, the Tribal quests, I'll call it that now. The Tribal quests, I think... Since I kind of stopped showing those when I reached Stormblood and Shadowbringers because they're way more involved and take way longer to set up than they did in Heaven's Word and Realm Reborn. I think I'll skip over that. And maybe as like post-marathon content that I said I was gonna do, like the FF10 and 13 stuff. I'll do it as part of that series instead. As like just kind of optional miscellaneous post-marathon content. I'll do the tribal quests. So I'll go back to the Leon and Midgard-Sormer and do the... I'll pick up from where we left off on the tribal quests from back then, the Stormblood ones. I'll show those, and then the Shadowbringer ones, and then these ones. Make it its own little mini-series, I guess. Just a setup, so I'm not actually gonna do the dailies on stream. Well, maybe someday if I really have no other content to do. But I have no plans for doing that, because like I said, I am gonna play other games like Metal Gear and stream that as well. But I guess if I'm ever bored enough, I could do the dailies and actually finish the tribal quest storylines. But if I did that, I would start with the Realm Reborn ones. I haven't done... I mean, look at this. I can actually just... Where is it? Reputation? Look at this. I've done like 3 quests for the Sylphs, and that's it. Yeah. So... Maybe if I really run out of shit to do, but I don't think so, though. If I ever decide to do those, it'll probably just be off stream. I just... Grindy things like that, it's not my thing. There's a reason I quit MapleStory after reaching level 200 and didn't play another MMO for fucking 6 years after that, or whatever it was. No, longer, actually. 2012 to 2020. 8 years. I would have started playing FF14 sooner if it wasn't for that grind PTSD, basically. I didn't want to get sucked into another MMO. But then the pandemic hit and I said, fuck it, why not? And here I am. And I don't regret it, this game's amazing. It's definitely nothing like MapleStory. I love that it's much more story-driven, like a single-player JRPG, which is right up my alley. And I'll be, speaking of that, I will be streaming more of those too. My plan is to stream the Metal Gear series, that shouldn't take too long. And then eventually down the road, probably like some other JRPGs that have been on my mind that I've, from my childhood mostly, that I've revisited recently, in recent years, and the nostalgia factor and everything makes me like them quite a bit, and I might stream them, like... Some people might be thinking I'm thinking of, like, Legend of Dragoon, Legend of Legaia. Legend of Legaia, yes. Legend of Dragoon? Maybe. I don't know. My memories of that one aren't so fond. I've found second and third playthroughs to be kind of boring, actually. I don't know why. Legend of Legaia, on the other hand, I fucking love that game. I revisited it not too long ago. Like, actually, it was before I started playing this game. Yeah, back in 2020, like, right after the pandemic started, actually. Started playing Legend of Legaia, and I had tons of fun with that. But anyway, I'll stop myself there, so I don't ramble anymore. But so yeah, I don't think I'll be doing the tribal quests. That's where I started rambling, yeah. On stream, I think I'll wait until I do catch up on the other ones that I was doing during the marathon. And then do it that way. I'm in no rush to do tribal dailies anyway, so it doesn't affect me. So the plan is we will do, yeah, the rest of MSQ, Alliance raids, then do the Master Role quests. And then the other 6.15 stuff besides the tribal quests, which is a Heartless Hypothesis. I guess a continuation of the Omega storyline. And then Totaro's little small business, big dreams thing that appeared in Charlene as well. I don't know what the hell that's about, but we'll see. So that's the plan. So with that said, I'm going to bed. Now you know the plan for tomorrow and beyond. So we get there when we get there. In the meantime, well, this is where I take my leave of y'all. So, as always, please take care of yourselves, look after each other, stay safe out there. Thank you all very much for watching. I appreciate all the support on YouTube and Twitch, wherever you choose to watch. And until next time, please have a good morning, afternoon, evening, and good night. Get my little emotes ready. So yeah, peace. Take it easy, everybody.